Thank you. Well, I was conference chair last year and I really enjoyed it. I love being among these motivated people who are committed to decarbonize mobility and other industrial sectors. And as conference chair, you get the best seat in the room. So it's a pleasure to be there and to have the honor of being conference chair. I want to hear some honest debate, really. I think that's what I'm most looking forward to. I think we've seen some of the hype and hyperbole around hydrogen e-fuels die down. I think we're seeing a lot more realism come into play. We've seen some very, very high profile projects, even those that have come through FID fall by the wayside. And is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? Well, if they were bad projects, it's a good thing. If they were good projects, it's a bad thing. But this is a tough competitive world. E-fuels and hydrogen need to be competitive with alternatives, alternative decarbonised solutions, and the projects that we're doing need to be done with the best technology in the right places. And what I think is great about this kind of conference is it helps people to come and share what's gone well, what's not gone so well, and the people listening can hear and learn so that what we get more of in the future is success and less failure. And that's really what these people coming together is all about. Well, let me be honest. I actually really love going down to walk the exhibition hall, and I love that it's integrated with the carbon capture and storage exhibition as well. And listen, I love being conference chair, and I love hearing the speeches, and I love hearing the questions from the audience, and the engagement is wonderful. But what I'm looking forward to most is half a day downstairs in the exhibition hall, walking around, talking to people, shaking hands, and finding out what's new. Sure. Well, I'm going to speak a bit about specifically about my track and the session that I'm chairing just now, and which is all about propulsion, which is fundamentally hydrogen e-fuels for mobility, whether it's land-based, cars, trains, trucks, and whatever, or whether it's aviation, helicopters, drones, aircraft, or whether it's maritime applications, which tends to be relatively heavy duty a lot of the time. And when we talk about e-fuels, we can talk about methanol, we can talk about ammonia, we can talk about synthetic aviation fuel or e-diesel or whatever, e-gasoline. And then, of course, hydrogen itself as green hydrogen is an e-fuel, but often it is differentiated a bit. But the track that I shall be focusing on is actually related to ammonia. And I think ammonia has a huge amount of potential as a it has the opportunity, I believe, to be a very, very cost efficient, carbon free fuel to help us decarbonize. On the other hand, of course, ammonia is toxic. A lot of people know that and are aware of it. So we have to ask the question, where does ammonia fit? It's got cost benefits, it's got ease of production, ease of distribution benefits, but we need to recognize some of its handling characteristics and be careful with those. So I wouldn't necessarily want ammonia in my passenger car, let's put it like that. And if we've got an aeroplane with lots of people on it, we also need to ask a few questions. But we put, gasoline on kerosene in the wings of aircraft today anyway. So we tend to manage safety in aviation very, very well. So ammonia may actually find a space in aviation. I think also in shipping, we need to be a bit careful about where ammonia is used. Would it necessarily fit a cruise liner with 2,000 passengers on it? Would it necessarily fit ships coming into major city harbors? For example, some of the cruise liners sail up the Grand Canal in Venice. So, perhaps ammonia isn't the right solution for those kinds of applications. But a huge amount of shipping is very, very industrial. Let's say iron ore that's being loaded in Western Australia, where almost nobody lives, and is sailing up to China and is being unloaded at a port location. The crew on that ship can be well trained into the precautions that are necessary in terms of wearing gas masks or whatever, and also the portside crews at the loading and the unloading destinations, relatively few people, and it would be relatively easy to train them when they're working in an industrial environment. And I think these are the kinds of ways that we need to look at the future, not that this fuel is the only fuel and this fuel is the best fuel and batteries are better than hydrogen or hydrogen's better than batteries. But we always need to be asking the question, okay, ammonia, where would I use it? What is it going to be good for? Batteries, where do I use them? What are they going to be good for? Hydrogen, where do I use it? What is it going to be good for? I mean, let's face it, today we use a lot of fuels: diesel, gasoline, kerosene, and we use a lot of fuels, LNG, natural gas, CNG, right? So why wouldn't we be using a lot of decarbonized fuels in the future? Methanol, ammonia, hydrogen, eSAF, e-diesel, batteries. I think a lot of them will have a place. And the key is really to work out which niches, which roles each particular product will have. And again, coming together as a community and discussing that, and specifically in my track, discussing the role that ammonia might be playing in the future, how we can produce it cost effectively, how we can store it and use it cost effectively and safely. That's really something I'm looking forward to discussing the issues, frankly, discussing the issues such as safety and challenges related to that, but also the opportunities that ammonia might have as let's say, as a more industrial decarbonized fuel.